All right, so I love Huawei. Huawei make good equipment. In fact, I have one of the original Huawei watches, and it was okay. I had it for about a week before I hit it hard, and the I didn't realize this until 7 months later, but the battery terminal had connected, the motherboard clipped off, so I couldn't charge it properly. It would say that it's charging, but it would never actually charge. But then I found the torque screw things and managed to get in there, and after fiddling around, I heard it click. And I was like, ooh, don't tell me it was that simple. Sure enough, it was. So I've managed to go from the original Android Wear to Android Wear 2 to Wear OS to Wear OS 2 with this watch before it finally just absolutely died. 3 years later, for a watch, is pretty bloody good. And now I'm stuck with a stupid Apple Watch, which I never use an Apple, so I have to wait till I get home before it synchronizes and doesn't tell me shit. So I've used Huawei watches, and look, check this out. I'll just clean the screen a little bit. It actually has a proper sapphire crystal face. I mean, 3 years of use, and there's not a scratch on the face. The stainless steel around the outside has got a bit of wear, but boy, for 3 years, this is amazing. So that's where I'm coming from when I say that Huawei makes some pretty good stuff. Here's the problem though. Huawei manages to get a lot of its intellectual property from the back of a truck. It just magically appeared in their lap. And just like if you were to go to a dark alley and buy a TV set, sure, it might have come from your grandmother's living room, but it's cheap. So you go on YouTube, and especially Canadian, there's like the tech review scene seems to be full of Canadian people. I don't know why, but it is. And Canadian people are all about like, oh, free trade's great. But nothing in life that has free attached to it is good. And in Huawei's case, they get all this like subsidized electricity. If your electricity prices are cheaper than everybody else's, you're gonna have lower costs. If you don't actually have to hire some very expensive scientists to make your stuff, it's gonna be cheap. And if you don't have to worry about environmental constraints, you can just pump as much pollution into the riverways and air as you want. Everything's going to be very streamlined, and it's streamlined is efficiency, and efficiency is cheap for the consumer. So the way that I like to analogize it to retards, these people that think, oh, cheap and good equals I should be able to have it whenever I want, is like going to a strip mall, and there's like these ladies in the front, and they're like, hey, you came to buy a microwave. How would you like, some sex? It's only going to cost you $10. Your microwave's going to cost you like $200. And you're like, that sounds like a pretty good deal. I could totally do with some sex right now. You're not seeing why the sex is so cheap. Sex is so cheap because this person is addicted to drugs. This drugs is cheap stuff in China. Low environmental constraints, free electricity, intellectual property stolen and handed to you off the back of a truck. And if you become dependent on getting all your sexual satisfaction from this mall dirty hooker, you're probably going to get a little bit angry when suddenly an authority greater than you, and I like to use the analogy of your mother. Your mother's like, look, I went through the whole thing, how do you think you existed? You can't do this. I'm officially banning you from going and having sex with these cheap, dirty mall hookers. You're not even wearing a condom. You're just lucky that you haven't had anything bad happen to you this far. And yet, I go on YouTube, and there's all these, like I said, mostly Canadian people. Americans, well, they get a little bit more, because they realize that China is actually a threat, because they're a threat to them. Canadians, they're just like, I want cheap everything. I should be able to have cheap everything. I should be able to have my cake and eat it as well. I should be able to bang, you know, dirty hookers without a condom and not have to worry about the consequences because, you know, socialized medicine or whatever. So as much as I love Huawei, and I am a customer, I've been a customer for a very, very long time, and I absolutely love this product. So it's simple, elegant. If it didn't die, it'd be better. But I've opened it up and I've fixed it multiple times. I even had like lines on the screen one time, and I opened it up and dried it out, and sure enough, it worked for another year after that. But still, if you are anybody that they target, they can use the microphone in here. They could just do an over-the-air firmware patch, and they can use the microphone to listen to your conversations. And they can, if they have a camera in the device, turn the camera on. They can have a team of people. They can have like 20 people if you're valuable enough, just full-time spying on you. And the scary part is if it's not you, it could be somebody else that hangs around you. If I was wearing this watch and I walked into like an army base anywhere, I could literally be classified as a threat to national security just because I bought this in Best Buy. That makes, I mean, you shouldn't have to worry about this stuff. But unfortunately, Huawei has been proven to not be playing above board. And if they own enough devices in enough people's pockets, they can do stuff like that in seconds, in minutes. They can be like, okay, we hear this person has got a CPU that's like 4 times faster than what we have. We're going to, even if they make a chip that's inside a device, they can go in there and do an update, opens up an exploit, installs some malware. They can literally piggyback off a private, you know, mobile like 4G, 5G network and get all the information they want. And that information has already cost the US up to $600 billion a year. So it's a scary prospect. And would I have missed this on my wrist? Absolutely. But could I have bought a more reputable company like a Fossil or a, what was another one? Samsung's rubbish. They make Tizen. Tizen's shit. But what else has Wear OS? Motorola. Motorola makes watches too. And the new one is TikTok. I'm even still tempted to get one. But as much as I love this one, I'd happily see it go to not have to worry about all the bullshit that Huawei is clearly involved in. Anyway, until next time.